What's happening, everyone? Geo here from Fandom United. Want to share my thoughts on Peacemaker's first season. That's right, first season. The second season just got announced yesterday. James Gunn, cast and crew all celebrated on Twitter. And I think it rightfully so deserves a second season. This is a show that surprised many of us, myself included. We weren't really too high on this. I mean, out of all the characters in the DCEU, Peacemaker is chosen to be the first to have its own series on HBO Max, and you're starting to see this now with the DC IP. They're giving Penguin, Colin Farrell's Penguin, he's going to have his own series. They're probably going to do another character in the Suicide Squad. Hopefully, Idris Elba's Bloodsport. But I gotta say, this one really worked. It worked on multiple levels. James Gunn, he talked about how enthusiastic he was and passionate about this character. He kind of just wrote this for fun, but HBO Max saw something in this and decided, you know what? Go ahead, we'll give you all the time, all the money. Make this for us before you go back to DC, to Marvel to finish Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. First thing that I will talk about is just the amount of character depth in this season, starting at the top with the Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker. First off, John Cena, he delivers in this series all the way through. The jokes that he says may not be funny, but the delivery is there, even especially during the moments between him and Vigilante. But Peacemaker, you understand so much more about this character and the way he is, going back to the Suicide Squad and him being a troubled individual, getting in trouble with the law and trouble with his past, trouble with his father, played by Robert Patrick, the guy from Terminator. Yes, Augie Smith. He absolutely killed it, and he was just a douche the whole entire time. You never rooted for him. You never liked him. He's everything that you would find in a toxic parent, toxic father. The flashback scenes with him and his mullet, and just him abusing Christopher and his brother, and blaming Christopher for his other son's death, putting that on his son's hands. Man, that's some deep and disturbing stuff just on an emotional level. And coming out of this first season, I can say I am more of a fan of Peacemaker. John Cena, I'm looking forward to seeing you in season 2 and kicking ass. Uh Vigilante, my god, what a surprise. The biggest surprise in this first season, arguably, as far as characters go. As some of you may know, Vigilante was originally going to be played by another actor, but 5 episodes in, that actor left over creative differences, and enter Freddie Stroma. I think I'm saying that last name correctly. And he just kills it all the way. Anytime he's on screen, I'm either laughing my ass off or just hooked on just his character's persona. He is definitely disturbed, but he's somebody who is just trying to, make a difference. And he says, and I think in episode 2, I turn my body into an instrument of justice. And the moment, I'm sorry, the scene where he sits down in prison and talks to Robert Patrick, Peacemaker's father, and all that, and just goes off and pushes their buttons and then kicks their ass. One of the standout moments of this season. Can't wait to see more of Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante. He was definitely a highlight. And another one, a big standout, Emilia Harcourt, played by Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's girlfriend. I mean, to go from a background character in the Suicide Squad to front and center, her character kicks so much ass. And early on in the season, she's just miserable, right? She's stuck with Peacemaker, Vigilante, Economos, played by Mr. Steve Agee, who returns. Um, she's just miserable. She does not want to be there. But after some time and, getting past her own, I guess, getting past herself really and embracing this team and working with it and learning how to have fun, she ultimately buys in, and the whole time she's just kicking ass. She's a badass. I can't wait to see more of her. There's word that she's going to be in Black Adam. I haven't really bought into that yet. That would be an interesting choice, but yeah, she kicks ass in this episode, 100%. Um, we talked about Economos. That guy is just poor Economos, man. He's always getting picked on and whatnot, and but he does have some badass moments in this first season. Um, Particularly one with the chainsaw. If you've seen this series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then in the last episode, he was probably um, the one who the finale gave his character the most. Because there's this ongoing joke about his beard and how he dyes it and how ugly it looks and whatnot. But the way the show has him touch on it was nothing short of brilliant. It was brilliant. And it made me feel bad for the Economos character and somebody who I found myself rooting for. And of course, he has a laugh out loud moment in this season finale, but you could say that pretty much throughout the whole season. There's a lot of stuff that his character goes through, and you're just like, what the hell? And the way he just contests everything that Peacemaker says, Peacemaker's beliefs, his reactions to conversations, he's just like, what the hell am I doing here? But it's fun to watch. And then you have Adebayo, who, kind of has her own secret agenda. She's Amanda Waller's daughter, and she has a little side plot with her relationship with a character named Kia. And I didn't really care too much for that. I mean, yeah, it's always cool to see representation on screen and a little bit of their character, but I think we're past that now. I mean, that's kind of a normal thing in Hollywood, and if you're not a fan of that, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, the butterflies, man. First off, that is the fucking ugliest cow I've ever seen in my life. And what happens to the cow? The way the cow dies, activate human torpedo and zoom. But I'm sorry. I find this show funny. Okay, I do. I know comedy is subjective, but we'll get to that in a second. But the butterflies, yeah. Project Starfish, Starfish, and the Suicide Squad. Butterflies, literally butterflies in this series, and they have their own motivations about why they're trying to take over and make this home a new habitat of theirs. The whole thing about humans are destroying the earth and whatnot, like, I get it, yes, but how many times are you going to keep playing that? um it worked. But for me, the antagonist protagonist between Peacemaker's father and Peacemaker, I thought hit deeper. Both actors absolutely delivered on that whole confrontation and that whole dynamic. um yeah, the white dragon costume looked pretty cool. I don't know too much about it. Apologies, fill me in the comments, but I thought it worked. Robert Patrick, I appreciated that even though his character got killed off, he was still living in Peacemaker's head. And that's something that we'll see what happens in season two. Because I got a feeling that even though Peacemaker has grown so much as a character, you're going to still have some of that. It just doesn't go away, childhood traumas and whatnot. And I thought James Gunn touched on that beautifully. Yes, the comedy is not for everyone, but I'm speaking for myself. Okay, yes, comedy is one of the most subjective out of all things subjective regarding movies and content and genres and whatnot. But for myself, the comedy, I would say about 85% worked, 15% didn't work. There was stuff that was just laugh out loud funny that I've already touched on. There's stuff that got me a chuckle, and if it did, it worked for me. But I can understand if it didn't work for you. James Gunn, his style of humor does not work with everybody. And to add on that, there's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing on Twitter from real DC fans who I have no problem if you're somebody who wants to voice their opinion. I have no problem if you want to trash on the season. But where I draw the line is when you start judging other people and throwing insults at them because they happen to enjoy it. And thus you call them not real DC fans. I love Zack Snyder's universe. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. But Zack Snyder, and I'm going to say this, does not own these characters. Remember, when Zack Snyder's universe was being built, there were directors coming in to make solo movies and whatnot, and Zack Snyder was involved in all of that. But for Peacemaker, here's a spoiler: the Justice League shows up, or at least a few of them. Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Ezra Miller's Barry Allen. You see silhouettes of Henry Cavill's Superman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but it's mainly Aquaman and Flash. Nobody put a gun to Ezra Miller's head or to Jason Momoa's head and said, "Hey, you got to show up for this and do these, and it's in your contract." No, James Gunn went ahead and pitched this idea to both actors, and both of them agreed to do it because it fit within the context of the Peacemaker show. I'll say that again. It fit within the context of the Peacemaker show. Jason Momoa heard the pitch, agreed with it, liked it. Ezra Miller heard the pitch, agreed with it, liked it. Both of them are in it. Yes, we don't see Ray Fisher's Cyborg. It still bothers me. I'm still holding out hope that once the Discovery merger happens, things will change on that front. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That merger will play a big part into Ray Fisher and his Cyborg going forward. Remember, Andy Muschietti wanted him in The Flash, but I digress. If you're somebody who is on Twitter and just insults, then maybe you need to look in the mirror. Okay. Because if you think that's what a real DC fan is, I got no problem being a normie. And on a side note, these movies, comic book movies, make $1 billion not just because of the fans. It's because of the normies, the general audiences, and whatnot. That's the reason those movies make $1 billion. That's the reason those movies are so popular. That's the reason the MCU has gotten as far as it has gotten. But I'll digress on that as well. So if you have problems with Peacemaker, I got no problem with that. I got no problem if you hated the show. But throwing insults at other people, not cool. Stop. But I mean, that's on film Twitter. I mean, you're asking a lot, okay? Um, and that just comes with the territory, I guess. So all in all, Peacemaker season 1, 2 thumbs up. Check it out. I highly recommend it. And if it's not your thing, you can back out of the HBO Max app and watch something else. Watch Zack Snyder's Justice League again. I plan on doing that in a couple of days because I'm going to shoot another video for this channel, and I'm excited about what I have in store. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this review recap of Peacemaker season 1. I didn't exactly touch on everything, but I wanted just to give my thoughts and hear from you. Let me know what you think of Peacemaker. If you thought it was crap, let me know how much you thought sucked about it. If you loved it, let me know what you loved about it. And again, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that so much. You guys do a lot for me, and I really very much appreciate your support for this channel. And that's going to do it for me. Until the next video, you guys take care.